Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. Now, as I'd said last time around, we are going to be moving right on along here with the DM guide, taking a look at fixing D20 Modern, and we're still diving into some of the more broken, useless, and just terrible classes that came out with this particular system, and there's a few. There's plenty that work fine, but, well, this one in particular is probably one of the worst. This is probably one of the worst classes you could ever possibly think about picking up. And like the Archaic Weapon Master, on paper, the idea sounds great. It's the Techie class. You know, your mechanical engineer, the electronics expert, the guy that can assemble and build robots, Mastercraft items. These things sound really good, but the way the mechanics work out on them is just not. It's not. It's useless. They're terrible. This is not a good class at all. And honestly, this class, we tried fixing this back in high school, but the DM at the time just kind of abused the shit out of it. I mean, there's no two ways about it. But we'll get into that another time. For now, let's just roll right on along into breaking this thing down. And let's take a look at starting off with its requirements. So, to become a techie in the first place, you need to have 6 ranks in either craft electronic or craft mechanical, computer use, and disable device. All of them you need 6 ranks in. And for hit dice, you get 1d6 per level. For action points, you're getting that usual 6 plus 1/2 your character level, rounded down. And at skill points, you're getting a pretty generous 7 plus your intelligence modifier, which should be an 18, so you should be getting a +4, ideally. And you'll be looking at 11 skill points every level. It's pretty good, especially considering the class skills include computer use, craft, electronic, and mechanical, demolitions, disable device, drive, knowledge, behavioral science, earth and life science, physical science, pop culture, and knowledge technology. You also get navigate, profession, read and write language, repair, research, speak language, and spot, which, you know, if you'll remember, one of the proposed fixes I had for this was taking spot, search, and listen and just rolling them all up into the nice handy skill of perception and fixing that right off the bat there. Base attack bonus for this class. This does not get a good base attack bonus with it. You start off at 0 and progress very slowly and at the end of 10 levels, you come out at a nice, solid, sad 5. Fortitude saves are also not great. Neither are the will saves, both again starting at 0s and then ending at 3s. Will saves do pretty damn well here. You start off at a 2, and by the end of your 10th level, if you take all 10 levels from this class, you get a nice 7. Defense bonus is respectable enough, getting a 1 at first level and then ending at 5 when you hit your 10th. And reputation bonus, there's not a great reputation bonus to be had here. You start off at 0 and end at 3. Being a techie is not glorious, it would seem. Not even in this highly technologically advanced day and age. But it's really the class abilities where any class can be made or break. And here it just utterly breaks and fails. First level is Jury Rig. For first level on Jury Rig, what this does for you is you gain a +2 competence bonus on repair checks made to attempt temporary or jury rig repairs, which basically, for D20 Modern, the repair skill has the jury rig function, which is just a temporary, quick, singular fix, and by the time the scene is done and you have a moment to rest or take a break, you have to basically repair everything and undo the jury rig and fix that as well. The bonus increases to at level 7 to a +4 there. And this doesn't even give you a bonus on regular repairs. This is just for jury rigging that you get a bonus to. So that's pretty terrible in and of itself. And then we have Extreme Machine. Kicks in at level 2. So extreme. It's spend 1 action point and make either a craft, electronic, or mechanical check. And the techie can temporarily improve a machine's performance at risk of needing to make repairs later. For example, adding a +3 damage to ranged weapons needs a craft DC of 25, which is mechanical, and you run a 75% chance of needing repairs. Oh, okay, you know, that's not great, but +3 bonus damage to ranged weapons. That's pretty awesome. I mean, you take a 9mm, it does 2d6 at its base core rulebook, non-modified things. It does 2d6 right there, so +3, you're doing a minimum of 5 and getting a possible 15 out of it, not counting doubling any damage you do if you get a critical hit. That's awesome. But here's where things really fall apart. It takes an hour to perform. You can't take 10 or 20. And if the check succeeds, the improvements last a number of minutes equal to the Techie's class level. You can only improve one aspect of a machine, and after the time runs out, you roll the percentile to see if the machine needs repairs to be usable again. At best, you're getting 10 minutes out of this. Now, a minute in terms of game mechanics for combat, that's a long time. That's quite a long time. I mean, that'll last you through a couple of combat encounters, honestly. But you need an hour to do this, and you can't take 10 or 20. And for most of these, if you're working on a car, a gun, or if you're working on a computer, you're going to need your workbench. You're going to need tools, parts, things that are not exactly going to be mobile and easy to get on the go. And I don't know how well it would work out for you to show up in a van and then leave it running to supply power to whatever little hand tools you might have to make modifications to everybody's weapons, especially since you need an hour to do it per item. So if you're sitting there for 4 hours in a van that's running, somebody's at the location where you're expecting combat is probably going to notice and either come deal with you or be more prepared for you, because your weapons aren't going to last the drive over. Your vehicles are not going to last the drive over to whatever it is you need to do. And mechanically, the way this is written, this is stupid. This does not work great at all. I mean, oh my God, just terrible. And then, of course, at 3rd level, 6th, and 9th level, you get bonus feats. And you get to pick them from the following extensive list. You get Builder, Cautious, Combat Expertise, Educated, Gearhead, Personal Firearms Proficiency, Point Blank Shot, and Studious. I mean, wow, wonderful. What a list of feats to be selecting from. I mean, okay, it's more than 3, and some of these could be kind of useful. If you don't have Personal Firearms Proficiency, picking that up now could be good. You should probably have it already, but hey, all these other feats, though, I mean, they're skill bonus feats, and those are not great. They're not a great expenditure of your feats. So it's just not a good list. These are not great choices. And really, if the feats were changed, they might work a bit better. But, that's another thing there entirely. And then for 4th level, we have Build Robot. You build tiny or diminutive-sized robots. They can be programmed with the following skills so long as you have at least 1 rank in the skill: computer use, demolitions, disable device, repair, or spot. You make a will check to buy the components. Diminutive is DC 18 and tiny is DC 15. You construct the frame. DC 15 for diminutive and 12 for tiny, and we're just going to kind of keep going in that order from here on out. It takes 30 hours to construct the diminutive frame and 12 hours for tiny. And then you have to construct the electronics, which is 20 for diminutive and 15 for tiny. And you add a +1 to that for each external component, and +2 for the remote link, which the remote link has to be there because these are remote control robots. Why is that not already included in the difficulty? Why throw that in after? I mean, you could have saved on some ink and also just saved a slight bit of time, and also potentially not have somebody miss that as they read through the block of text. And then you make a craft electronics check after you've totaled all that together. Then you program the robot by deciding how many ranks to program into it, up to the Techie's current ranks. You make a computer use check to program the robot. It's equal to DC 20 +1 per rank. So this can rack up pretty fast in terms of difficulty. I mean, kind of makes sense. The more complex and thorough the robot is capable of being, the harder it should be to program. I mean, even if you have, 10 ranks, let's say, into demolitions, that's a DC 30 check right there, which is definitely doable for the Techie, but you might end up taking a couple of tries on it, and there's nothing written in here about as to whether or not there's any expenditure of components. I would assume not, because you're just programming and writing code. It's not like you're causing anything to explode or fall apart or fry itself. So, I guess unless you roll a 1, but that's up to your DM then at that point. Anyways, moving on. The last ability we have here is Mastercraft, and it kicks in at 5th, 8th, and 10th level, having improvements. And so what masterful thing do you get here for something that it has to be broken up over 3 levels? Well, you select Craft Electronics or Craft Mechanical to apply the Mastercraft ability to, not both. At 8th and 10th level, this gives you a +1 when you select one of those things. So you're able to craft either a +1 electronic item or a +1 mechanical item. Or rather, you can apply that Mastercraft quality to any of those items that you make that fall under those categories. At 8th and 10th level, you gain another +1 bonus to apply to either of those skills. So if you decide you're going to dump all 3 into 1, you get up to a +3 electronics or +3 mechanical. You can split it, so you have +2 in electronics and +1 to mechanical. And that's about the long and short of it there. You have to pay experience to build a Mastercraft item, which is 25 times your Techie level times the Mastercraft bonus. If the experience cost would drop you below your current level, you can't make the item. You also have to make a wealth check in order to do all of this. Adding a +1 when you're crafting an item adds 3 to the difficulty, a +2 adds a 5, and a +3 adds a 10. So, I've never liked this particular aspect of things, paying experience to make items. It's kind of a holdover from 3rd edition Dungeons & Dragons, where making enchanted gear required the enchanter to expend experience points. How much just kind of depended on how big the enchantment was and how many enchantments were going into an item, so it could end up taking a lot. They eventually introduced an ability where it was basically an experience sharing, where the caster could draw experience out from, say the fighter wanted a +5 Vorpal Greatsword. Well, instead of paying the experience cost all by themselves, because that's not fair to the caster, they could draw that experience out of the fighter to help pay for the experience cost. But it was stupid to me. It was stupid to all of our friends. And I brought up, hey, why are we doing this? This is dumb. Let's just do the crafting. And everybody went, oh, yeah, you're right. That is dumb. It was dumb. It's still dumb now. This is dumb here. Especially since you're talking about crafting electronics and mechanical items. You're not even talking about enchanting gear, which at least had some kind of semblance of sense to it. As I could see the reasoning there. It's like you're investing a little bit of yourself in order to bind the magics to this item. You're investing your experience, your knowledge, and a piece of you has to go away with it or something like that. That makes some kind of sense. This does not. You should be able to make if you want to make a Mastercraft cell phone or PDA or laptop, whatever, experience has nothing to do with it other than, your skill points, how many skill points you have. You're not investing anything other than parts and time and a little bit of your labor. It's dumb. And to top it off, just to show you how stupid this is, they also came out with the Mastercraft Feat. Requires craft electric or mechanical 8 ranks. Or I'm sorry, electric and mechanical, both of which have to be at 8 ranks. This does the exact same as 3 levels of the ability above, and you can add up to +3 right off the bat. There is no waiting to level up. There is none of that. By level 4, a smart hero can take this feat, because for those of you who don't know, who have been playing 5th edition or other games, first level for these 3rd edition oriented D20 games, so Dungeons and Dragons and D20 Modern here, a first level character can have up to a max of 4 skill ranks in a class skill. So in this case, Craft Electric and Craft Mechanical are class skills for a smart hero. Instead of taking a level of Techie to start advancing into it and eventually getting Mastercraft, they can just take level 4 of Techie, and they'll have all 8 skill points needed to do Craft Electric and Craft Mechanical up to level 8. Because each level, whatever your class skills are, you can put another rank into them. So 4 at first level. So then by, 4 at first level. So by 5th level, rather. I apologize, the math was off in my head there. I'll just blame the fact that I've been getting less sleep with the newborn around. So by 5th level, a smart hero can do what a 10th level Techie can do, which is a 13th level character overall, because you have to have 3 levels of smart hero to get into Techie, and then to be able to do a +3 Mastercraft item, you have to get all the way to level 10, and then you're limited to just doing either a +3 electronic Mastercraft item or a +3 mechanical item. You can't do both. With this feat, you can do both. You still have to pay experience, but you can do both here. You can achieve the same level of crafting of master crafting as a 10th level Techie, as a 10th level advanced class. Now, the difficulties might be a little bit harder for you to hit, but nothing says you have to make something automatically a +3. Having +1 Mastercraft weapons is fine at 5th level. I mean, who wouldn't love having a +1 Mastercraft high-powered sniper rifle? +1 bonus to your hit on top of having, a high-end fancy scope and incredible range-finding equipment and somebody with the skill and know-how to put that thing to work and start picking off targets from long range. I mean, that's awesome at 5th level, having all that being able to be assembled right there. And that's fine. But, well, I'm sure you get the idea. I've been belaboring the point. With one feat, this class is made useless. And this is the big selling point for this class, is Mastercrafting. It's the only thing that's even halfway good, and they still manage to screw it up. I mean, honestly, overall, for this class, I'd say if your DM's not allowing you to change anything, if they're just going with rules as written, skip this thing. Skip it entirely. Or see if you can't beg, reason, or barter with your DM for changing some parts of this, for doing a little bit of homebrew, because this class is so bad. Like, the Extreme Machine thing, I mean, the part that got axed with our group was the bonuses being temporary. Nobody liked that. Everybody recognized right off the bat that that was stupid, that didn't work well. So we got rid of that. But it also meant that, well, technically by the rules, it doesn't say that we can't keep adding more bonuses to it. So they did. I mean, some of the party ended up with Colt 45s that did +26 damage. Like, and by the rules as written for how vehicle damage worked, one character got a critical hit shooting at a tank, did more, and had armor-piercing rounds to help overcome its hardness, and did technically, by the rules, enough damage with a 45 to cause the tank to blow up in one shot. I mean, granted, that says as much about our DM as anything else, but God, I love this game. I will say that right off the bat. A lot of great memories, a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, but this class is so terrible that, well, reworking everything, whatever I do to it, it will be better than it is as it is now, but really, I think it's worthwhile to just dump it and stick with Engineer. But I will rework this. It is being reworked and will have something functionally, mechanically better for the next time around. But with that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. If you enjoyed today's video, go on down there, hit the like button, let me know. Leave your comments down below what you thought. Does this class look as terrible as I'm saying? Does it sound as just fuck off god awful as I'm making it out to be? Well, let me know. Or if you disagree, if you find something here somehow that is still interesting or looks mechanically reasonable to you, well then let me know down below. I'll be honest, unless you have an incredibly compelling argument, I am probably not going to agree with you, but I invite the discussion nonetheless. Please, I'm not going to just shut you down because I disagree with you. I'd rather just take the time to argue with you. So let me know down below. And if you've enjoyed today's video, well then there are going to be a couple more popping up over here that maybe you'll enjoy as well. Or if this hasn't been your first stop here, then hell, you've stuck around here this long, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and be notified next time around we upload more content here at the Gamer Stand. Be a regular, be a member of this growing, weird, odd little channel here with me, your host, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it, and you all have yourselves a good night.